I have tens, hundreds, thousands of hours in games, and not once have I reached the peak of them. I'm a very average gamer, with ranks that represent that very well. People might say that I'm actually quite good, but I don't think that's quite right, because their point of reference most of the time is themselves and the average person, not the average gamer. I would call most people that play a game for a couple, maybe more hours a day, just playing whatever game, the average person. In my eyes, the average gamer is someone who has the drive for competitive play or creates a challenge for themselves to test themselves. I would say a decent example would be Dark Souls. A gamer in that sort of game would either be a completionist, a speedrunner, or someone who set themselves a challenge, not someone who just completed the game. Now I do admit I sound a little silly, and I'm not disregarding people who play games normally as not gamers. I would just say they aren't the type of people I personally am trying to compete with, nor the type which I would expect would understand this video. Now let me explain my title. I do not think I have the capability to become the best at any game. I do not have the drive, I do not have the skills, and I do not have the patience to do so. However, I do have a slight competitive spirit, and that spirit would be never wanting to be underestimated at any game I play. I believe the people who reach certain ranks have something that pushes them to do so. I don't think I have that special something, and that's where my idea comes in. I want to reach the highest rank that an average gamer could get with time and practice. For some examples, ranks where it is not the top 500 people or the highest rank in the game. It would be the second highest rank in the game for a lot of the games I'm going to talk about. Here's the highest ranks of the games I have played, here are my peak ranks of those games, and here's my current ranks in those games. And this is the rank I want to get for those games. I have gotten pretty close to these ranks, but I never got them. I always burnt out and I was quite miserable just solo queuing and never moving past a certain point. It felt like I hit my theoretical limit. But I know that's not true. I very well could have hit those ranks and I would never have to make this video, but I haven't. And to be honest, this is my way of holding myself accountable. I'm sure you guys are very curious on why you should care, so I'll tell you what the punishment would be if I do not accomplish this task. I will spin a wheel comprised of your request and will do whatever it lands on. Of course, I will not be taking in requests that go too far, but that will be my punishment. I have, depending on my schedule, 6 months to a year of accomplishing the task of hitting one of these peak ranks. Maybe less, we'll see depending on how close I am to reaching those ranks. Of course, I will also be solo queuing the entire way, as that will be my way of properly redeeming myself. To give a slight bit more details, I will be adding the request as a redeem on Twitch, so if you would like to watch me on my journey, please feel free to join my Twitch livestream and add a request. I will up the price on it depending on how many people request, so the earlier the better if you have a request.